Hey guys, what's going on here? Meeting a couple of friends for dinner here. I'm at the Capitol Grill in Paramus. Seems like everyone goes to this place every few months. I can't tell you how many meetings I've had here, uh, but it's fun. What's neat about my business and wealth management is that you meet a lot of super interesting people, and you learn from them, and they're in different industries. I've got a client who runs lumber mills in southeastern United States, and he's linked to the data center demand. He's importing from China, and he cut costs on his imports by going to Alibaba. So he's actually better off than pre-tariffs. That's an example of an insight I learned from a client that changed how I thought about tariffs, for example. That's one. Another guy meeting tonight, he's a multifamily developer in the area, uh, incredibly tasteful individual. Uh, I'll have to show you a tour of one of his buildings in New Jersey. It's gorgeous. So, like, I'm a family and kids now, so that's not the right product for me. But man, if you're 20s or 30s, it's called the Mark Hotel, by the way. If you're the Mark Properties. It's more like Edgewater, but it's gorgeous. And we get together, we trade ideas. There are a lot of common problems across different businesses. They often boil down to people, and making choices. And it's a really great exercise to get together with a group of friends periodically. I used to do an annual trip around New Year's Eve in my 20s with friends from college, small group of friends, and we would hold each other accountable. So we talk about what we got done the prior year and what we're trying to get done the next year. And I always enjoyed those conversations, have still very fond memories of that, and still friends with them today, although people have kind of gone about their lives in different ways. That's one way of having accountability in your life. A second way is having a routine. I know CEOs and fintech leaders in, say, the New York market that get together the first Monday of every month. It's a great, great concept. So I hope you can find sources of accountability in your life. If I think about what truly matters in life, it's the ability to hold yourself accountable, which is another way of saying the ability to lead yourself, which is another way of saying the ability to formulate a vision and then march towards that vision step by step. The ability to do something that you need to do, not the thing that you necessarily want to do. And that is the foundation of enduring civilizations, actually. And change and leadership, right? So hopefully you can find some accountability in your life. I have a cousin of mine holds me accountable to health and longevity. He called me 2 Wednesdays ago, 7:00. And I was in the middle of something. I couldn't take the phone call. I felt guilty because I know he's going to hold me accountable with a rock. Like, you go to the gym yesterday. What happened? Remember we did that exercise 3 weeks ago? Are you staying on top of that? And I called him the next day. I told him, no, like, I'm in trouble. It's been hard. Like, I'm doing the weekend warrior thing. But, you have to find accountability in that. The thing about accountability is, it leads to a better life. Accountability is equivalent to an investment in yourself. What is an investment? You have an immediate cash outflow, then you got future cash inflows. All investments have those characteristics, unless you're buying Palantir or something like that. It is, right? Anyway, but those are the characteristics of an investment. And accountability, go to the gym, make yourself accountable, make an investment in yourself, learning a new skill. That's accountability. Invest in your health. Spending time with your kids, your family, your spouse, quality time, not busy work time, not running the kids around like a helicopter, dad or mom. Quality time. That's investing in your family. Spending time with others around the holidays. So the thing about accountability is a lot of people don't like accountability. It's easy to choose the path of convenience and the path of the sloth and procrastination. It's easy in the moment, but it has significant costs down the road. It is the opposite of an investment. It is the opposite, right? So you get the cash inflow today and then you're bleeding losses forever. That's the opposite of accountability. And I think when it comes into the workforce, there's a 2x2 matrix. I love 2x2 matrices, right? I graduated school, went into consulting. We learned the BCG frameworks and these 2x2s and all this stuff, right? That's what 4 people used to make fun of McKinsey consultants. They have a couple of things to offer. I like the 2x2 framework. Here's one. This is my 2x2 framework I just created. One axis is desire to win. Desire to win. You're either in that box or you're not in the box. The other axis is ability to hold yourself accountable. You want to find people and surround yourself in your peer group and place yourself in the box that wants to win and hold yourself accountable. That's where the real competition plays out, actually. A lot of people want to win, but they can't hold themselves accountable. I've seen this time and again. They talk a lot. They say these things. They're just posturing. They're not really able to hold themselves accountable. That's what it comes down to. They want to win. They want to win. Who doesn't want to win? Who doesn't want to win? Now, actually, there are people that don't want to win. Call them sadomasochists. They have some psychological issues, how they relate to the world, how they relate to themselves is really broken. Like, actually, that does kind of happen. But most people want to win. The issue is, can you hold yourself accountable to win? Now, once you're in that quadrant, now you have the right to compete. You have the right. That doesn't mean that you're going to get the results you want. It just means you're now in the relevant part of the battlefield. That's all it means. But if you can consistently hold yourself accountable, that's the other dimension. Can you consistently hold yourself accountable? This is what the Stoics, I think we're getting at. You know, the modern word we use is grit. The modern word we use is grit for that, right? If an entrepreneur, there's this expression, when you're building a business, you're eating glass. That's what Elon Musk once said about building Tesla and SpaceX. He's like, look, it's eating glass. It's true. To building a business from scratch, you're eating glass. It is painful. One of the worst things you can will upon anyone, your worst enemy, is say, go start a business. You know, I have entrepreneurs that come to me for advice and guidance, and I try to talk to them how to be an entrepreneur. Like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Do that. Make sure you start businesses early when you're young. Do it 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 7. It gets easier and easier and easier and easier. You learn the main lessons experientially with direct experience, not through theoretical book knowledge. And you'll have convictions in the decisions you make. You have good instincts. You'll refine intuition. But entrepreneurship is overrated for most people. And I think it's like an identity thing for a lot of people, which means they like to be identified as that. I don't know, more sides of the times. So yeah, main message is accountability, and accountability is actually a form of self-love. Think about it. It's being the best self you can be. That's what accountability truly is. But accountability means you got to look yourself in the mirror and face direct truths about yourself and acknowledge your weaknesses. That's accountability. I don't think many people can do that. I think a lot of people get dopamine by having feelings like resentment of others or jealousy of others. That's not a good emotion as a human being. Human beings thrive when they're winning and they have success and they have pride and ownership. And they can look to someone and say, hey, I built that. You know, the Greek philosophers had this concept called eudaimonia. It's called the fulfilled life. The fulfilled life. I think that comes with accountability. Right? So if you're not happy with your life, do you have accountability in your life? That's a question for you. Right? It's not a precondition for happiness, but I don't even know what happiness means. I think a better goal is satisfaction. Got a piece of dust in my eye here. The trick for me tonight, Capital Grill, is, am I going to order the steak or the seafood? The right decision is the seafood. That's the right decision. That's holding myself. Like, I love steak. I used to cook a lot. I did the carnivore diet for 2 years. I mastered the art of the reverse sear. It just didn't work my genetics. Like, my LDLs went up to the roof. I went down this whole Dr. Peter Attia's book, the stack analysis. Something, you know, I could have been like a Dr. Dookie Howser for a bit, right? So that's kind of my choice tonight. Can I hold myself accountable? I don't want to. It's a trade-off between convenience and value in the present moment versus value in the future. And if you can hold yourself accountable, what happens is you can start to reshape your identity, right? The fundamental ground concept of who you are, your values, how you relate to yourself and the world around you. Identity, pretty powerful thing. It's the reputation you have with yourself. For companies, identity is like a brand. But if you can adopt the behavior consistently with willful intent, you're sculpting yourself like a statue, like this little line here, right? You're sculpting yourself. So you are shaping who you want to be. And that identity can be powerful, I think. That identity is, it's who you are, and you get the identity tracks qualities in your life, right? In the same way, if you have a garden that's sculpted, that garden takes energy, it takes pruning, takes cultivation. Cultivation is really the right word here. Cultivation, such a great word. Cultivation. Removing of weeds, tilling the soil. And if you have a strong garden, it actually doesn't take that much energy to maintain. Getting it to a state of high quality, a high quality garden that's tasteful, takes energy and skill, but maintaining it doesn't. It's that journey that is the difficult part. Another part of identity, this journey is, do you have an identity that can transform the process of eating glass into satisfaction? Can you transform the process of eating glass into some kind of feeling of satisfaction? This is the edge Elon Musk has. That guy goes to DC and sleeps on the floor of different cabinet buildings to get change done for the Tesla factory. That's an example. His reward system is wired such that he is a machine, a transformer that turns eating glass into value output on the other side. Can you have an identity that does that? It's an embrace of adaptation, change, and willingness to venture into the unknown, to go up the mountain, go through the dark forest, and trust that there's value in that journey, right? If you have that, you've got a shot to get to the other side. If you don't have that, you don't have it. Then you want to be on the winning team, but you can't hold yourself accountable. So I think accountability has a lot to do with journey over destination, which you go to the careers page at Lumida, I talk about this. Talk about Joseph Campbell, who wrote The Hero's Journey. The Hero's Journey is an incredible book written by an incredible individual in mind who's underrated. He was the foundation of movies like the Star Wars trilogy and all this stuff. Look like the New Testament, the Old Testament. There are incredible stories that you can kind of figure into this concept of the hero's journey. So the hero's journey is about sculpting your identity through trials and tribulations. Are you a hero? The world needs more heroes. Something I say now is that the world needs, that's what that means. Can you take the entropy of the universe that's growing around you, the chaos around you, and metabolize it through your willful intention and skill and behavior into something of value? That's what heroes do, right? All right, folks. I hope I get the oysters today. All right? Take care. Cheers.